Alright guys, so on a channel called Base Gardening, it's actually been a long time, over a year I think, since I've done a gardening video. So let's do a little bit of garden today. I'm filling this bucket of water, or whatever that is, not a bucket, but anyway, container of water, because I'm going to make a vermiculture, like worm casting tea. If you're a little bit into gardening, you may have heard of compost tea, but I'm going to do worm casting tea, which the recipe I'm going to do today is not my recipe. It comes from a channel called, one of these names like Gardening Life something. Maybe I'll find it and put the link in the description. It's from YouTube. But to this water, we're gonna put a few ingredients. One of them is gonna be molasses. This is molasses, like for farming, and there's gonna be, so I've got some other stuff here. There's gonna be the seaweed. Seaweed's gonna go in there. Everything that would make this, like, really murky is going to get passed through a strainer, right? And I'm going to lose my seaweed. And I'm going to get some ascorbic. This is vitamin C, ascorbic acid. I'm going to get some. It's not autofocusing. Hello, focus on that. Focus on me. Me. Anyway, that's vitamin C, ascorbic acid. We're going to get some of that in there. And what the vitamin C, the ascorbic acid, does is it gets I forget what they're called. It's chlorine, but there's like chlorides or something like that. The ascorbic acid gets rid of the chlorine really fast. If you don't have ascorbic acid, or you don't want to put it in, a lot of people have heard of the trick of just getting water, if there's chlorine in your water supply, and just leaving it out all night, or whatever, for a day. But if you put the ascorbic acid in there, it does two things. One, it gets out the chlorine and the chlorides, or all these little things that you want out. And two, your plants need some vitamin C, some ascorbic acid. Probably squeezing in a lime or something would be a little bit of a better source for it, but the ascorbic acid is still okay. So let me see here. I'm going to let this get a little bit more full, but it's getting close. And there's another thing that's going to be, I don't know where I put it. Oh yeah. We're gonna put this to use. This is for fish tanks, and it gets it's an air pump, an aquarium air pump, and we don't want this to be static water, anaerobic. We want air to move through there to aerate this so that it can grow the right microbes that we want it to have that come from the worm castings. I'm going to turn this water off. And let's have we'll look around the garden here. So this is neem oil, and let me see. Neem oil is, for most people, probably something that you are familiar with coming in a bottle or something like that. Let me show you what we've got here. Look here. These are the leaves of the plant where neem oil comes from. And all I did was broke these up, broke them, just rubbed them in my hands, kind of cut my hands all up actually, but ended up with this stuff that's neem oil. And let me show you what happens here. I'm going to put a little hose on it. Watch this right here. See all those bubbles? That's that's the action of the leaves. So let's do this here. Let me get this. Use this here to spray all over the plants. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands off a little bit. When you get this real neem on your hands, it actually burns a little bit. There we go. All right, hold on a sec. Okay, so let's have a little look here. I've got some yellow chilies here, and this is some spinach that hasn't come up yet, and I'm wondering if my seeds are no good or if the spinach just needs a long time. And I'm waiting on these. These got planted more recently. Tomato and bell pepper. I'm waiting on these to come up. It hasn't been long enough for me to see the first sprout, and stupid little snail came along. I had on my yellow peppers here, yellow chili peppers, I had like 8 or 9 sprouts, and a snail came along. I saw him chilling out over here. I didn't know snails just devoured plants. Just came along and reduced me to 5. So I got rid of the snail, little bastard. All right, so got aloe going here. I procured these 3 little kind of pieces. Aloe is extremely hardy and rugged. I got these 3 little pieces from somebody and threw them in here, and you don't have to do much to aloe, and it just goes like that. Just goes. This is all new growth. Down in here, all new. Just coming up there, new. It just goes. Aloe is so easy. And these are a bunch more long chili peppers. I'm not gonna treat them with the neem oil yet, because the neem oil is if it's enough to burn my hands a little bit, I'm gonna wait until these guys get older and are really sound on their own. But these are gonna be a bunch of green chilies that are long, and they're a little bit spicy, but they're not too bad. And I've got more of those right there. Haven't finished getting them into their separate pots. Kale, Chinese broccoli rather, not Western style kale. So let's start getting some of this on here. There we go. Get that neem. So you just keep on doing this. This is a type of basil used in Thailand to make Padra Pao. Pao's basil. And I've got, this is gonna get replanted. This is about ready to go. This part here is still alive on my coriander or cilantro. These seeds are ready to be the next plant, and this is right in kind of a middling phase there. Okay, so that's how this goes. You just keep doing that. In there I've got cumin and a potato. Interesting mix. So you just kind of, I'll finish that up later. Just kind of keep that going. And let me show how this works here. Let's get this set up. Okay, so the way that this works, first thing is I get a little bit of my vitamin C. What this stuff is, this ascorbic acid. Any tart little candy or anything you've ever had has this in it. The wind's picking up, or the rain's coming in. So I just get a little bit of this in there. That's fine. You don't need much of that. This little bag will last ages. All right, so just get that stirred around so the ascorbic acid can do its thing. And I'm going to use this. Oh yeah, I forgot. I've also got compost going over there, but I've got 18-day Berkeley compost in my video feed already, and the only difference is that one is with grass, fresh grass that was cut around here, along with old brown grass, and the last one was with a bunch of old vegetables that I got from a local shop. It's the only difference. Other than that, it's an 18-day Berkeley compost. So so this is going to be my little strainer, right? So I'm going to get all of this seaweed in here. That's good. Just get about that much seaweed. Kind of not a bad idea probably to just sort of break it up a little bit, but it's not going to be that big a deal, right? So just get that seaweed going down there. Press that down there. Now the most important, the seaweed is an extra nutritional factor. Some people use some kind of kelp formula that's like a very, very condensed sort of formula. I just put some seaweed in here, and I've had really good results with it. So that's just what I do. And the star of the show is, let me see if I can get this right in the camera. These are our worm castings, the star of the show. So this is really, really light stuff from the worm castings. I've got I'll show it to you if you. I've got my worm casting bin over there, so that's active. It's got coconut coir in there as the kind of base, along with leftover fruits and veggies and stuff, and so that in there, that's going. And then when it's all done, you've got a bunch of worm castings that look like this, and they smell absolutely amazing. If you could only smell what I smell. They smell great. Okay, so the important part here, into this, put this in there. Into this, we get some of our worm castings. One more handful. There we go. Okay, we just want this to be able to close so that it works as a filter, so that I can wrap something around here and close it like that. And as long as you've got that ability, so I can close this, we're all good. Okay. So set that aside. That's how that's going to go in there. And of course, you're going to need a line of tubing, plastic tubing, to connect to the air pump. And I've got here some fishing weights to hold it down, because this right here will want to come up, and it'll want to take your air pump out of the water, so it's just blowing into the air, which doesn't do you much good. So the weights hold it down. And then I've got that ascorbic acid in there, and the next part is to pour in a little bit of this molasses. And it's pretty difficult actually to get it mixed in. I mean, when they say slow as molasses, they're not joking. I don't know if you can see that stuff in there, but it just doesn't move, right? So slow as molasses is no joke. There we go. That's gonna do it. The molasses helps the plants, and it helps this process because you're adding a form of sugar to this. And you know, whether if you ever fermented anything, you know that a sugar is a very, very important, necessary part of the process. You need some kind of sugar, so that gets mixed in there. Look at how thick that stuff is. It sticks. Look at how it's still on the bottom there, even though it's clearly mixed into the water. See how it sticks to the bottom? It is thick stuff. Molasses is no joke. You wouldn't, I mean, what do you do with it as a food source? Something just sticks to everything like this. But there we go. That's pretty good. That gives a sugar, something sweet in the kind of fermentation process. Okay. And all that's really left from this point is I get the air pump hooked up, and I get this sealed and put in there and weighted down, and then for 24 hours I just let this bubble, and all the lovely microbes from the worm castings are gonna come out and get in the water, and the seaweed's gonna help. And what you're gonna end up with is what we call either compost tea, or in this case I would call it worm casting tea. And this will be enough to put on my plants for a couple of days, but the first one is really the important one. That's like right after it's finished brewing. So I just let it brew like 24 hours. So about this time tomorrow, or actually probably tomorrow evening, I'll be putting this on the plants after it's bubbled all day, and that is it. You know, you need, if you don't have worm castings, then it's something that you can easily buy. But if you make your own, it's just, you know, you get the pride of making your own and everything. So so there we go. That's about it. This bubbles up. Maybe when I get that all set up, I'll edit in a little bit of the bubbling and everything. All right, guys, just a quick little finish to the video. I'm going to show how I've got this all set up and ready to go. So I've got my pump going here, and I got the bag with the weights all sealed up, and I've got the hose going into the bag here, and this is already on. So all that's left is for me to drop this in. See the way the bag wants to stick out there? We've got bubbles coming out there. That keeps things nice and aerobic in there. And I'm actually going to have to do something about that, because that's a little bit too close to the surface. I want it to completely bubble up like that. So I'm going to do a little bit of extra weight work, and then I'll have that all sorted out, and this will be like totally held down. I've got 2 weights on this side that I'm just going to get on the other side as well. Let me see if I can get these weights to go down. Maybe do a little bit of a better job here. Yeah, either way, this wants to pop up, so I just got to get some weights on the other side, and we'll be all good here. and that's it. That's compost tea. Okay, for real this time. Base gardening. Thanks.